Click on the second one now.
This one?
Yes.
All right, everybody, listen up. If you pick the wrong market and your marketing dollars, they might as well go up in smoke. But if you pick the right one, that's where the momentum starts. Leads convert faster, spreads get bigger, and every campaign is out there working harder. Listen, most investors, they are chasing hype, not data. That's why I brought in my friend Burton from PROPSTREAM. He is a market intelligence machine inside one of the most powerful data platforms in the whole country. Today, he's going to walk us through exactly how to find the right markets for wholesaling using data, not dumb luck. If you're new here, this is the Closers Club. This is where serious investors come to sharpen their edge. No fluff, no theory, just tactics that move deals. Let's get into it. Burton, my friend, thank you so much for being here, man.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you for having. How are you doing today?
Doing amazing. Let's get right to it. How can, you are the man, how can somebody use PropStream to find the absolute best markets to make money in wholesaling, or whether they're doing assignments or novations, no matter what it is? Where are the best places right now that people should be really spending their time and their marketing money? Not the ones that people are talking about in Facebook groups, but the ones that actually move data or move deals based on data.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm a firm believer there's lots of markets out there. I mean, as long as you're sniffing the data properly, you're going to be able to find exactly where you need to park your marketing efforts.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, we can go online and we can go to like Yahoo Finance or a bunch of other these awesome websites that do run a nationwide poll of, the top 10 hot markets. And you got TikTok and social media. So I'm sure you guys have come across a video. It's like, here are the top 10.
Yeah. And you never know if that stuff is true. For me, what I
never know.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some exceptions, but for me, I found that when we were running Nationwide Property Liquidators, it was generally Sunbelt South, right? Like people are moving from the north, they're moving to the south because the weather's good. Some of the states down here have lower taxes and that type of stuff. So for me, I always love to concentrate kind of Sunbelt South. And I stayed out of the non-disclosure states, even though you guys have amazing data now. I just found that it was just a little bit easier to work in, Tennessee and Florida, even Alabama was a pretty good state. So what I'd love to do is can we look at 3 markets today, and let's just look at some basic indicators and see which ones, like if we had to pick between the 3, let's kind of like we'll play a little game, based on the data, which would be the best market, so that if you're watching this, you can go out, and I would just want to show you how easy it is to evaluate these markets, especially using PropStream, because they are absolutely the leader for all the data, right? Because you want to make decisions based on facts, not just how my belly feels that day. Yeah,
you nailed it right on the head. So yeah, you let me know those markets. I could
let's do
a few suggestions on how to kind of
let's do these. I feel like these might all be good, so we'll have to see. How about Huntsville, Alabama, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Savannah, Georgia? Let's hit 3 different southern states here.
Perfect. So let's go ahead, and I think I have my screen up here. So
yeah, there you go.
PropStream right here. Let's go ahead and get to our search screen. And the first market you mentioned is Huntsville. So the first thing I would do, just again, the way I look at data is data tells a story. So you can do one of 2 things. And these are just philosophies that I go by. One is follow the money. That's the first philosophy. And what you do there is you essentially just look for the transactions that have occurred over a period of time.
Hmm.
So let's say I specialize in single family properties. I would
Hmm.
probably go to Huntsville, make sure it's residential data that I'm looking at,
Right.
specifically single family properties. And then in our owner information and occupancy status section, there's a last sell date filter here. So
Okay.
the reason I'm using sell date versus a cash transaction or an MLS sold transaction is
Hmm.
by using the last sell date, it's all encompassing. So it's going to
Right.
identify MLS transactions, cash transactions, and any transactions that utilize a conventional or any loan for that matter. So even the off market stuff. So
Right.
if you're again trying to just go by, I just want to see all the transactions over the last 90 days. I don't care what type of transaction it was or
Right.
how they sold the property on or off market. Last sell date's your best bet. And so since we're in October, let's go back, let's say 90 days,
Okay.
September, August, July 1st is my starting point. And then from there, we can see that over the last 90 days, when it comes to residential single family properties,
Hmm.
regardless of what the transaction is, there were 1,038 in Huntsville. So if we're just going off 3 markets, hey, let's see how many transactions per each market. The first one is Huntsville at 1,038.
Got it.
PropStream is we don't have to change the filters at all. We can just keep them
That's
there,
what I was going to ask you. We just keep changing the market,
change the
right?
market. That's
Love
correct.
it.
So now we can just go over to Chattanooga, seeing how many transactions using the same filter set. We have 767.
Okay.
And the last
Wow,
one
that looks
I
smaller.
believe you gave me was
Savannah.
Georgia. So again, same filters across all 3. That's single family residential, last 90 days, any transaction type. And we're looking at 669. So just based off those 3 markets, we're looking at Huntsville leading the charge, Chattanooga and Savannah, the same
So all
order
pretty
that you gave me. Yeah, pretty
kind of
awesome.
close. All
David,
right.
you really have
Like
your
I've done
knowledge
this
down
before.
there. Yeah.
Well, can we go in now and let's filter down for cash transactions? Because
Oh,
sometimes
absolutely.
there are definitely some markets which are more of a retail market. And, because mostly what we're doing for everybody who's doing an assignments, right? We are looking for cash buyers. So, the thing that I really wanted to look at with you today is we have some of our clients that end up with these deals in super rural areas, and it's just near impossible to move them because there's just nobody to sell it to. There's
I
they're
hear that all
they're in a
happen
place
all the
with,
time. Mhm.
yeah, it's a pond with 2 guppies and a frog with only 3 legs, and like, who's going to buy your property? There's just nobody there.
No, you know they're on the head. I realize that people don't realize that until it happens to
Yeah,
them, right? And this business is an acquisition and a disposition business, and
exactly.
so you kind of have to find, like you said, that perfect middle.
Hmm.
So while you might be in an area where you did acquire a property, if the disposition isn't there, then it's
Yeah.
not going anywhere. So let's do what you did. We're going to go backwards this time. Start at
Hmm.
Savannah since that was our last search. We're just going to go in our filter.
Hmm.
Lead list, we're just going to select cash buyers. And so now we're isolating the transaction to last 90 days, only cash transactions.
Hmm.
We're down to 205 for Savannah.
205. Okay.
And again, because the filters are already in place, we can now go to the next market. Chattanooga is at 144.
Hold on,
And
almost pretty
then
steady.
Huntsville would be our last or the first market that you provided.
Hmm.
And when it comes to cash transactions, 90 days, single family properties, we're looking at 141. So it looks like
Wow.
when it comes to cash transactions, it's completely flipped. 205 in Savannah, 144
Hmm.
in Chattanooga, and Huntsville follows the pack at 141.
Nice. All right. Yeah, Savannah was much closer than I thought they would be. I thought they'd be a heavy retail market. Let's throw in there just for fun with these filters, Charlotte.
Charlotte, yeah. So
I mean,
Charlotte
obviously
cash
going to be much,
transactions.
Charlotte or Atlanta. Yeah, it'd be a huge metro area.
Charlotte, North Carolina here. We're not talking about Charlotte, Tennessee, right? Just
No.
okay. 558. So Charlotte is definitely a very hot
Right.
market, and that actually rightfully so. I know lots of successful wholesalers out in that market.
Hmm.
Um, So yeah, Charlotte, the tri-states are usually booming.
Right.
We're looking at Greensboro,
Hmm.
Winston-Salem, and a few others out there.
Right. So for those of you that are watching, and I know this isn't going to be the longest video because I want to show you how simple this is. And I love that you can set these filters and literally you could put in 10 cities, right? Sit and go, where are 10 cities that I want to invest in? And you can see instantly how quick, it is to pull up this data. And now we can start to make some educated decisions. So think about this. This is what I think about. Every dollar that I spend in marketing, it's a little soldier. And I want to send it out there and I want to put it to work. I do not want to send it to Hee Haw, Nebraska, right? There's no reason for me to be investing there because what will happen is I'm the only guy talking to these people about buying their house for cash. And we've made this mistake before. We'll get 10 contracts in a day. We think we're going to be rich. Order the jet. But in reality, there was nobody to sell the deals to. Right. So that was one of our just absolute biggest struggles. So, and I don't know how often you see that with people or hear kind of that
All the
stuff.
time. Yeah, people
Yeah.
don't really talk about it because they like to talk about their wins more than their losses. And I'm a firm
Yeah.
believer. Talk about your losses. We could all learn from it.
Yeah.
But
100%.
absolutely, I think it's a common. It's not something you think of until it actually happens.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, hopefully that's not the case with those that are listening. But if it
Nice.
does, here are some suggestions on how you can pivot for better results.
Right. Well, I absolutely love that, guys. That is how simple it is. It's just not that hard. But if one of these all of a sudden had dropped to, 40 cash buyers, that is not a place where you want to be investing. So, you can take these three markets and use them as a benchmark and say, pick your markets and go, and run the couple of markets that you're interested in, and are they above or below, right? So the only other real thing to factor in here is, some of the major metros like Charlotte, Atlanta, Fort Lauderdale, like everybody and their brother is going to be investing there. So I sort of like those secondary markets, right? The ones that are just a little bit smaller. Not very many people think to go to Huntsville or Charlotte or Savannah. They want to be in Atlanta. So you get this situation where there's just a lot of competition, and that may not be what you want. So these kind of secondary markets are absolutely fantastic. And you can just run a Google search on cities by population, and it'll give you, all 500 cities, and, maybe stay out of the 4 or 5, million population cities, right? Maybe go underneath, maybe go from like, look at the 200 to $800,000 or 200 to 800. One more time, the 200 to 800,000 population. And maybe that is going to be the sweet spot for you. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. I appreciate you being able to pull that up.
Yeah, and just in case, actually, I think that's a good point. And,
Yeah.
out here in LA County where I grew up,
Yeah.
LA is a huge market. We're talking lots
Yeah.
of space it covers. Just an additional feature for those people that don't know, there's
Mhm.
this little tab here. So while we did our search on a city level, it
Right.
fits in a large area, and you still want to know, okay, well, I want to really pull down that city more.
Yeah.
Hit that little tab right there on the screen, and then you can
Mhm.
break it down by zip
Let
code
me
as
let me move
well.
us.
So in this case,
There we go.
um,
Now we can see a little more.
Charlotte, we had 500 results, but what I can do is by selecting the zip code column header here, I can organize those
Oh,
558 transactions. And
right.
so while, like you said, Charlotte is a big area, there are going to be certain zip codes that are a little bit more, that are booming more than
Right.
others. And so here we only see one, here we see two, while the next one we see several over the last 90 days. And clearly 28205 is leading the
Mhm.
charge with,
Yeah.
again, a few dozen, and that's just over a course of 3 months. So
Right.
in the event I want to stay in this market, feel free to utilize that little tab there to dissect it even further.
Yeah, I think that's really great for those of you that are doing outbound marketing, and you're doing texting or you're doing postcards or letters, something like that. If you're on a budget and you just don't want to spray the whole city or the whole county, yeah, this was something that I used to do. Was I would take that list, export it, sort it. Well, you can actually do it all here now, which is fantastic. Sort it and see, hey, in the city, if I've got a limited budget, let's say I just want to pick the top 5 zip codes, right? And then I want to go out and maybe we could do this. We've got a few minutes. Like we can build a list really quick in this market of potential people. So you want to let's just go back to where you were. Let's pick 2 zip
So
codes.
potential people to sell or to
Yeah.
buy
Like
as
who do we want to
destinations.
send our marketing to? Right.
Oh,
'Cause now we've picked a
absolutely.
market because we know where the cash buyers are. So let's just pull 2 zip codes and show them how to pull a great list.
Absolutely. So again, we identify the contract. If the
Mhm.
contract, let's say, had a zip code in 28205 in this scenario, we can utilize that knowledge and then just kind of reverse engineer. So
Right.
um, again, go off the zip code of the listing that you have. And the cool thing with PropStream is you can do multiple zip codes if you need
Mhm.
to.
Yeah.
So by using commas and spaces, you can search up to 5. So maybe, not just 20205, but 28206, 28204 even. And then once you have those results, then it's just a matter of just kind of thinking of it like a dating game.
I
So
love it.
heading
And
into our filters
tells
and
you
then
right
saying,
where it's at on the map.
absolutely. So I have a cash buyer that I'm looking for. I need a cash buyer in these 3 markets. And the type of property that I have is a residential single family property and then owner occupied, certain, so forth.
Right.
Apply that, and then here you have it, 31 properties that meet that criteria. And again, I didn't even have to touch any of the stuff because if
Yeah.
that's what we did to find those buyers on a city scale,
Mhm.
then we just go down to a zip code level and
Right.
find them. But if it's a
So
duplex, just
right.
change those property types to the
Mhm.
duplex and kind of go from there.
So for us to do marketing to sellers, would we take off the cash buyers to start to pull us a list of who we're going to send like postcards to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like you mentioned it, if we're looking to now find a off-market list, we just click
Right.
on a list here. So maybe it's tired landlords that we're
Ah,
trying to
got
go
it.
after, or maybe it's vacant properties or high equity or whatever. We have several different options for
Can we
you. And
select multiple at one time or?
not on this screen, but every single option that you see here. So let's say I want a high equity that's also a failed listing, or
Mhm.
a high equity that's a probate. Failed
Mhm.
listing can be found in our MLS filters right over here. It's under one of our statuses. So yes, you can
Ah,
stack, just
got
not
it.
on that area.
I
And then
got you.
for deceased owners, that would also apply in our owner information under pre-probate. So high equity include deceased owners, and then
Right.
you got those 2 galleries together.
Nice. So guys, we looked at it and we saw where cash transactions are actually happening at. We figured out what those zip codes are. Then we went back in, put those zip codes in, and then started looking for our filters, right? The tired landlords, deceased owners. And now we're going to get a very targeted list. You can add in more filters like square footage. How long have they owned it? I usually like 10 years, right? I like figure after 10 years, they've had enough. So you could start to add in some of those very strategic filters. And the important thing to remember is the more filters that you put in there, the smaller that list is going to get,
Yes,
right?
that's very
But
true.
it gets even more targeted. So, instead of just like spraying and praying all over the city, now we can look at, I want just 1,200 to 1,500 square foot houses that have a tired landlord that's owned it for 10 years, that has some equity, right? And now those are the people that we can start targeting. And this is really valuable if you're just starting out and don't have a huge budget.
And I love that. I mean, you can lay
Mhm.
out the 2 scenarios and find the
Yeah.
happy medium like we talked about. Where are
Mhm.
my cash buyers in these 3
Yeah.
cities? Break it
Yeah.
up by zip code if you want to.
Mhm.
And then same scenario, where are my tired landlords in
Right.
these 3 cities? And
Right.
then find the market that has the most in both categories. And then
Mhm.
that's maybe where you should spend all your
Right.
marketing efforts. If we had to, again,
Yeah.
choose one market, right? So great,
Love it.
great strategy.
And yeah, I know we're coming up on the time here, but and maybe this is where we come back next time. But you don't even have to go to anybody else. You can do all of your mailings right from PropStream, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have many different marketing outlets. So we
Mhm.
have a landing page we can create for you. So
Mhm.
again, when you send out your postcards, which is a campaign option in PropStream
Yep.
postcards, we have emails, and then we recently acquired Batch Dialer and Batch Leads
Mhm.
in July with the
Yeah.
intention to integrate a dialer into PropStream. So in the
Wow.
very near future, look out
Mhm.
for a dialer. So
Right.
build your list of buyers or sellers.
Mhm.
Use any of those options for marketing.
Right. And so, guys, I just want you to really understand this, especially for our clients. Look at the markets where there are actually cash buyers. Number one, stay out of these areas where it's 3 guppies and a frog, right? Like get out of those areas. They're very difficult to move. You're just beating your head against the wall. You have with PropStream here, you have the ability to pop in and out of any market in the country. You might as well go someplace where there's actually cash buyers so that you can get these deals done and get paid. Um, Two, then you take the data where the cash buyers are, and that's where you pull your list from. Or if you want to run PPC or whatever it is, at least we know we're targeting it correctly. But then we can build a list here. We can send the marketing out. You'll be able to dial soon. Like PropStream is 100% your one-stop shop for all of this stuff. And we've done other videos where we talk about how to actually comp properties and how simple that is, because you want to be making sure that you're offering the right amount, right? We don't want to be overpaying, and then we go back and we talk to our cash buyers, and we're just completely out of the ballpark. So, what other cool things? Skip tracing. You got programs now with skip tracing.
That's right, we do. It's included in PropStream, and depending on your plan, it actually might even be free. So
Yeah,
feel free to utilize that. And I just, for me personally, just seeing the evolution of technology and how fast we're getting homeowners or users, investors from data to homeowners. It's crazy how fast we're closing that gap now.
Yeah, no, it's adding in good skip trace data is unbelievable. I think I showed you one time, like we used to spend so much money skip tracing, and now, all of that data is included in the plan. So we've got a link here, trial.propstream.com/David Olds. That will, what do they get when they go there?
So you get actually a 7-day trial. We'll get a discount as well.
Nice.
And then when we're running some promos, I don't know the promo at the top of my head. I think we just flipped that. But if you're interested in that promo, just go to our website, click on that link that you see on the screen, and then just follow the information's there, but you'll see the promo.
Guys, no matter what the promo is, I say this every single time. If PropStream went to $500 a month and we were running our wholesale business, we would pay it, because you just cannot do this business without the best data. You're literally just throwing darts blindfolded at the wall, and the odds of having success are slim and none. It's very cheap. We've got a couple of different accounts in our business. You have to have this. There's a lot of things you can do without. You cannot do without data, and the ability to look at a deal and see how to value it, to see how much you should be offering the seller, and then also to see what your cash buyers are willing to pay, because that's how we make money. So you absolutely have to do it. Make sure, if you do not have PropStream, click this link. However you get it, make sure that you have it, because you'll be able to make smarter, faster moves. My man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know this was last minute to get you to come on, but this is something that was really important for all of our clients, and I wanted to make sure that we have a bunch of people watching, but that we also get this out as soon as possible.
Yeah, if it's important for them and you, it's important for me, man. So thanks for having me. You guys have a great day.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.